Drop a comment on the video if you're looking for local landscaping. Here's some pictures of last year's projects that we did and this year's projects with a flower bed we constructed, weeded around a swimming pool. Our basic package is the Clean Green 19, and that's just $19 for mowing and blowing of the grass. On that first mow of the year with the tall grass, pick your deck up, mow the top of it, pull it back, and then push forward. One good thing she does have for landscaping purposes is the lilac bush paired up with a red bud tree. You can see the colors kind of complement each other this time of year, and that'll last for about 2 to 3 weeks or so. Right now these smell really good. It's just that time of the year here in mid to late April. Next task will be to weed this out, and she's wanting them together for a proper walkway because she fell down last year. So she would like them together, and I suggested removing all these and actually laying down paving bricks or pavers. So we'll see if we can do that. It's hard to get those level, but I've already kind of weeded up here. I gotta weed this out yet, but I did get started and weeded this out, so it's a start. We'll get there next time. Okay, so this is actually an easier process than you would think. When you're digging these up, you can go one direction and just lift up. I've got one right here. Sadly, one of the flowers snapped on me, but you can see these roots right here. They're not like roots of most plants, and they're pretty hardy. It's got that bulbous part right down here where a lot of the energy for the plant is stored, and you can actually shake the excess soil off these roots and repot them, and they'll be just fine. And now we've got a pot ready for our landscaping company, and what we do is we just use this on people's porches and wherever they want it to help beautify their landscapes, as we help turn their yards into something that they can be proud of. And it all came just from literally in our own front yard. Now, as you guys know, we do have some seeds started indoors on things, and they will be transplanted to the garden. But the first seeds that are direct seeded into the garden are these 3 versions of lettuce. We've got Little Gem, Lalo Rasa, and Lalo Bionda. And Bionda is the one that's real bunchy. It kind of looks like black-seeded Simpson, but even more bunchy than that. Black-seeded Simpson is the most common variety that you see in stores. I got these from a coworker who really did me a huge favor by giving me grow lights and seeds and a hydroponic grow system, which I haven't used those trays yet. But here's black-seeded Simpson. You can get them for 20 cents by American Seed out of Walmart. They hide them in the back, but you can find them. And with lettuce, it's actually really easy. You can see some seeds right here of the Little Gem variety that I've got, and try to show you the row a little bit. It's pretty easy to actually cover these seeds up. You only want to cover them about 1/8 of an inch. You just loosely pinch the sides of the row, and the seeds will kind of fall down. Hold on here. See how they kind of just fall down? I got my row actually really straight this year. Now, the thing with lettuce is it's one of the first crops you want to get out. It's a cool weather crop. You want to get it out with similar things like radishes, onions, carrots. But with lettuce, it's a quick crop. It'll be ready to harvest in about a month or so, really. So you want to make sure that you get some other quick things out, like radishes are really quick too. It was kind of hard to cover that up, but you get the idea. Now, you can plant lettuce all summer long. It's just it tends to bolt in hotter weather, not be quite as productive. It likes the cooler weather a little bit, kind of like spinach does. And you can get multiple harvests off of it all season long, but you want to successfully plant more rows as the season goes on. That way, when your other crops are ready, then you can start harvesting your lettuce. Front flower bed's looking pretty good. It's got a good start to it. You can see I've got that darker garden soil mixed in the front there. And then I put the little garden row, whatever you want to fence, I guess, over top of it. But you can find garden soil. It looks like mulch, and I use it as mulch. I put it right on top so the weeds don't grow through as well. And it's kind of a nice dark addition there. I need to follow it up with several more bags. This was just one bag, got me that much right there. And we got it for on sale at Walmart for about $3.80, I think. So that's a good deal for that, but we need to get more, as you can see. I've already got flower seeds sprinkled all on top, so just be mindful that when you put your seeds out, you do want to use a water can that sprinkles on it. You don't want to put a lot of water on the ground, but you want it to flow out like in a sprinkling pattern. That way it doesn't displace your seeds everywhere. Tomorrow I'll put out a second row of the black-seeded Simpson lettuce, and we will experiment with spinach. Spinach usually does pretty good here in West Virginia. We've got 2 different types right here, and it's much healthier than lettuce because you're going to get a lot more of your vitamin A. Always remember to never hold your phone while it's on the charger. For EMF radiation, it's the worst, and put your feet on the ground for some grounding. Another gardening hack for you, but it's not in the garden. It's actually on your plant ID tags. And what gets permanent marker off, as you can see, this is a Sharpie permanent marker, is cologne. Some ingredients in cologne that just make this happen really easily, and you'll see right away. If I could get it to spray. Look at that. Just takes it right off of there. Hairspray will do the same thing too. So if you need to repurpose your plant ID tags, that's one excellent way to do it. You can see how huge these grapes are here, and they are seedless though. And if they are seedless, they are a creation from man in a lab and not straight from God. And Pennies from Heaven, that's our Tampa source for the Godspeed YouTube channel that we run here. She says you always want to strive for what's natural if you want to live a long and healthy life. And it's very important to do that. We're now finding out that grapes are a very, very excellent food to eat. So it is getting harder to find the ones with seeds in it. So keep that in mind. There's a reason for that. All right, so we're over here cooking eggs again, and we've got some eggshells. These have been in here for about 2 weeks or so, and that water is now ready to be poured on the plants. So we're gonna go ahead and pour it on our squash plants and the tomato plant, and they will reap the rewards of the nutrients, so the extra calcium in the water. Hey guys, so I wanted to update you on our eggshells in the water for the calcium. And you can kind of see I've got allergies. I have a runny nose all day, so I keep going like that, but it's spring, what do you expect? But yeah, so here are our eggshells, and we're gonna pour those on these. If you remember from a previous video, this is what I called a kid's bucket. We're gonna give this to a kid with a pepper plant and a tomato plant. And these were our transplants, and they're actually doing really good. So I'm very happy that they successfully transplanted over at the right length that wasn't root bound, if you remember from that video. And we just pour this in here. Now, this has been in here for about 3 weeks, and it stinks to high heaven. So I wouldn't recommend smelling it, but you just pour a little bit on there. I've already poured a little bit before anyway. And it's like a fertilizer, so these plants are gonna get plenty of that calcium that they're gonna need. Tomatoes do need some of that for good fruit development. And this is a squash that we've got going right here. This was a transplant as well. And as you can see, it's the only one that we've got going well, but it's really going. It's got 3 leaves. It will be about maybe 3 weeks, and you're gonna see the first fruit set on this thing. So just want to update you guys on that. Make sure you use your eggshells. And this is really what they should look like. Just crack them right in half, drop them in a water jar. This is a pretty small jar. It's not really gonna go real far, but this was able to water these 2 plants very well. Got a 2 liter right here with eggshells in it. You don't have to crush them up that well. I did, but like I said, they can just be in half like this. Drop them in. 2 to 3 weeks, you're gonna have good water for your vegetable plants. So of course, these egg cartons are nice for storing extra eggshells that you can put in water for when you're ready to do that, to get the calcium in the water for your plants. But if you take a fork and just kind of poke some holes in the bottom, you can actually use these to grow radishes in. Just put some seed starting soil in there and put radish seed 1 per hole, and it's good to go. The roots will come out the bottom holes, and you can get, what, 18 radishes per this carton right here. So that's pretty good, and you don't even have to go outside to do it. All right, so one of the coworkers at my last job was nice enough to give us these RGB grow lights, red, green, blue, and they really make a heck of a difference. You can see the stems on these tomatoes are much thicker than what they were, and if you recall, last time I made the mistake in March when the storms rolled through and we had that real warm spell of 70-degree weather. I put all our tomatoes out and they withered and died. They were stagnant for about 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden they just stopped growing and died 2 weeks later. So this looks a lot better. You can see our different types. We've got red cherry up here. These are coming along pretty good too. Transplant's doing good. We've got many different varieties here. Tomatoes will be our big crop this year. We're gonna can them, make salsa, make pasta. We're gonna have tomato juice. We're gonna do everything we can. And I wanna talk to you about some of the different varieties here. So beefsteak, obviously that's the one you wanna use on a sandwich. These here aren't as big as some of the other beefsteaks. Note that there are different types and different sizes of beefsteak, so not one is exactly the same as the others. Here's one we call Golden Jubilee. It's a mid-sized fruit, about 7 ounces, 8 ounces, and it'll be gold. It'll be yellow. I really like that one. It's got a delicious flavor to it. You'd slice that up and put that on a sandwich. And Rio Grande, that's like a bullet. They're very, very hard. It's like a Roma tomato, and they're good for making pastas, sauces, stuff like that. So you can cut them up and dish them up in your pasta dishes, and a lot of people can with those. And then this right here is Cherokee Purple. That's an heirloom type tomato, and when you say heirloom, it's basically one that has not been modified by GMO labs or whatever over the years, practices, hybridization. And a Cherokee Purple, it's kind of what the name says. The Cherokees actually used this type of tomato way back in the day, and it has a very purplish tint to it on the outside. It's kind of got a sweeter flavor to it, and it's a bigger fruit. It'll probably weigh roughly about a pound. So it's good for slicing, putting on sandwiches and stuff like that.